Hello, Internet. Welcome back to my JJDL Season 3 videos. This is my Week 2 match against Shuttered Backbards and his Double Iron Bashers. As you see on the right, you see the matchup. You see both our team, which you should maybe know by now, but it is on the left. It's my team. Like, you look directly below the word my team. There's our team. Then we got our opponent's team, which is pretty threatening, but I feel like I have a good matchup into it. But let's go over it. So, uh, they got Terraladios, Greninja, Glamora, Ursaluna, Scizor, Florges, Galarian Zapdos, Mismagius, and Lantern. Now, really, any of the nine mons can come to this match. I feel like there are three that I feel like are almost guaranteed, probably four. The three being Latias, Glamora, and Ursaluna, and I would be very surprised if Greninja did not come. But the other five are all possible. Um, Scizor is his only reliable freeze dry switch in. Florges can also take a freeze dry from Iron Bundle pretty well. However, Florges can't do much back into this team, so I'm not too worried about that mon. And if it comes, Galarian Zapdos uh can actually do pretty well into my team as I did not prep as much for that mon as other mons just because I felt like other mons were more important. Miss Magius could come. It with its levitate ability, it is immune to both Great Tusk stabs, but it also doesn't want to take a knockoff. So if I see Miss Magius, I will probably be expecting a Kolba Berry set. Lantern also has a really good chance of coming with its access to Volt Absorb or Water Absorb. It can help deal with the Iron Bundle or the Thunderous T. I'm if I see it, I'm probably expecting a Volt Absorb set because Water Absorb would help with Iron Bundle, but Iron Bundle still gets freeze dry, and Lantern can't do much about that. So I'm expecting Volt Absorb over Water Absorb. But now let's go over the four mons that I highly expect to come. First, we got Terraladios, who can go in a lot of different directions and was quite annoying to prep for. A few Terra types and sets I prep for and could expect is either a Terra Steel or a Terra Poison set, possibly like a Calm Mind set. Those two Terra types to deal with Sylveon, since Sylveon can wall it pretty well if it's near those two types. Between those two types, I'm probably expecting Terra Poison because Terra Steel can still get shut down or can still take significant damage from a Great Tusk close combat, while Terra Poison makes resists the close combats and still gets the immunity because of Levitate. Uh, I could also expect maybe a Terra Ghost set if I don't see Miss Magius. Terra Ghost will allow it to spin block. It could be a Kolba Berry set, just so once again it doesn't want it, so it can take the knockoffs pretty well and fire back with a Psychic type move. I also thought Terra Fairy might just come just because I can't break fairies too well with this team. Like my Steel type is a Bronzong and my Poison type is a Skuntank. But many of my mons, such as Thunderous T, can get poison slash steel coverage, and I also can be Terra Poison or Steel on Thunderous. So I wasn't expecting Terra Fairy too much, but those were the types that I thought were the best into my matchup. Now moving on to Greninja. Greninja uh, just outspeeds everything on my team except Iron Bundle. Like I don't have amazing water switch-ins. I felt my resists are Gudra and Thwackey as well as Iron Bundle. So I'm expecting a pretty offensive set with a water type move, probably Hydro Pump. Between Battle Bond and Protean, I can see either of them coming. I'm more worried about a Battle Bond set, specifically like a Scarfed Battle Bond set, since if it can get a kill, it can outspeed, and if my Iron Bundle is and Sylveon are like chipped down, it can just sort of start throwing off water moves, and it could get out of hand pretty quickly. I would expect maybe a Protein set, uh, possibly with poison coverage for the Sylveon. I would be Gunk Shot does a ton to Sylveon if I'm not Kevia Berry. So that's what I'm. So I that's something that I feel like has a very high likelihood of coming. Moving on to Glamora. Glamora is his only stealth rocker, and probably the Mon that I weirdly enough prepped the most for. Since if you look on the left, you see that I am bringing all my Hazard weak Mons, all my Mons that are weak to stealth rocks, as well as I'm not bringing Skuntank, so I can't absorb the T-spikes. And spoiler alert, I have no heavy duty boots. So yes, I'm probably expecting a either a lead Glamora, like a Focus Sash lead Glamora, or possibly an Air Bloom Glamora. That would be the Mon I would expect for him to lead off with, just to get up the stealth rocks. Yeah, it can do pretty well into this team. Like Bronzong can deal with it semi well. However, it's Bronzong can't stop it from getting up all the hazards. Moving on to Ursaluna. Ursaluna, I'm expecting a very defensive set because it is its only rock. It is shorter dab cake birds only rock resist, and I have an Hisuian Arcanine. So I'm expecting a pretty defensive set, maybe even like a rest set for reliable recover for some sort of recovery. Yeah, so that's what I'm sort of expecting, like the Latias, Greninja, Glamora, Ursaluna, and then the other two spots filled up by the other five Mons on this team. But now that we've went over his team, let's go over the team that I have brought. So first, we got a pretty standard three attacks, stealth rocks, physically defensive Bronzong. I am Berry for the dark type moves, specifically from Ursaluna. This will be my Ursaluna switch in with Levitate. I am immune to its ground type moves. I'm Steel, so I resist his normal type moves. And I feel like he would be like a dark type move like Crunch or I believe Throat Chop over a fire type move, just because Bronzong does get heat proof, but Levitate is this better ability for this matchup. But yeah, the whole point of this mon is just to switch into Ursaluna, get some stealth rocks up if I have the opportunity. Heavy Slam is there for Florges, as well as possibly a Terra Fairy, Latias. Body Press is just for like general damage, as well as Heavy Slam can also help with Glamora. Psyshock is there for Galarian Zapdos. This will probably also be my Galarian Zapdos switch in if it comes. But yeah, this is probably my most basic set I'm bringing. But yep, so that's my Bronzong. Next we got Choice Scarf, Hisuian's Arcanine, also known as Excalibur. We're running Choice Scarf because I want to outspeed any non-Scarfers, specifically to this can revenge a Latias if it gets set up with like a lot of Calm Minds and my Calm Mind Latias check that we'll go over later doesn't completely work out. If I can get this below about 50%, I can OHKO with a Hedge Smash, assuming that it is max HP, max defense, bold Latias. But Choice Scarf also allows me to outspeed things like the Greninja if it's not carrying Water Shuriken or any other Mon that is faster. I have enough speed investment to outspeed a uh, max speed, speed boosting nature Greninja. I decided not to speed creep a Glamora, specifically like a Scarf Glamora, just because I think that's pretty unlikely. I think Focus Sash or Air Balloon are the better items for this matchup. But yeah, close like so Head Smash is probably gonna be what I click the most, but Flare Blitz can also hit hard. Close Combat is for Ursaluna, which is his only head smash switch in. And then extreme speed is there just in case I do need to pick off the Greninja. And it does have Water Shuriken as well as any other Scarfers, such as maybe a Scarf Galarian Zapdos. But yeah, that's my Hisuian Arcanine set. Next, we got my Great Tusk set and my crazy Eevee spread. So Great Tusk has one job this match, and that is to stop hazards and deal with Glamora. So technically two jobs, but hazards are directly related to Glamora. So let's first start with it's carrying the assault vest as well as has a lot of special defense investment in HP. That is so I can live any two hits from Glamora, assuming it is not modest or like a, a damage boosting item such as like Life Orb or Specs. Uh, as well as you see, I am carrying Earth Power as well as some special attack investment. And that is so I can kill the Glamora without activating toxic debris. So this will be my dedicated lead. And assuming he leads Glamora, with the negative speed nature I have, I will underspeed Glamora and click Rapid Spin turn one to hopefully break uh, his Focus Sash or Air Balloon, as well as if he goes for Stealth Rocks turn one, I'll also remove that. And after that, assuming he is not Scarf, I will outspeed and possibly click Earth Power and KO the Glamora. That would be what would happen in a very ideal world. That is not guaranteed to happen, obviously, but yeah, that's why I'm carrying Earth Power and Rapid Spin. Knockoff is for me to catch a Latias switch in, as well as a Miss Magius switch in. And close combat's just for more general damage. Can help with like the Ursaluna and such. Moving on to our next spawn, we got Win the Iron Bundle. As you see, it's not carrying boots. It is, but we are a choice spec set. As I mentioned before, his only great freeze dry switch in is a Florges or a Caesar. So uh, Iron Bundles is just here to hopefully like just like break down those walls and set up my other Mons to sweep. I'm just a pretty basic freeze dry ice beam. Hydro pump U-turn set. I'm U-turn over flip turn because of water absorbed lantern. I have enough speed to outspeed max speed speed boosting nature Greninja, as well as max special attack and the rest in HP. Pretty standard set. Moving on to my Thunderous T. My Thunderous T, we are bringing Terra Grass this week. And with Terra Blast, we're running Terra Blast over Grass Knot because Grass Knot does not do a lot to Lantern. And his two like great Thunderbolt switch-ins are Ursaluna and Volt Absorb Lantern. He also has Florges, but I'm not expecting Florges to come, which is why I'm not carrying a Flash Cannon or a Sludge Wave. I'm also carrying Dark Pulse to catch a pre-Terra Latias if it switches in, as well as I'm Volt Switch over something like U-Turn, just because if he does switch into Ursaluna or Volt Absorb Lantern on my Volt Switch, I would prefer to stay in so I can hit those mons with a Terra Grass, Terra Blast. Uh, I have enough speed to outspeed max speed, speed boosting nature, Galarian Zapdos, and then the rest in special attack, and the last little bit in HP. So yes, that is Caesar's Palace, our Thunderous Therian. And lastly, we got my girl or boy, since I didn't give a specific gender. We got Arya, aka Pitch Perfect 2, our Sylveon. And this is our Calm Mind Latias check. I can switch in if it starts going for Calm Minds. I can start Calm Minding as well. As you see, I have Psyshock, so I can still do significant damage after we're both have multiple Calm Minds up. I also, of course, have Wish and Pixelate Hyper Voice. If he is carrying Stored Power or Psyshock, I can't perfectly 1v1 the Latias. However, I can get it low enough for something like a Iron Bundle or a Hisuian, or actually probably Hisuian Arcanine, since that hits on the physical side, to come in and threaten it out or just OHKO it. As you see, we are Kevia Berry. That is the poison resist berry. That is for a Gunk Shot or Sludge Wave on Greninja. If it can come in and thinking it can thread me out or OHKO, I can surprise it with the Kevia Berry and OHKO back with a Hyper Voice or a Psyshock, depending on if it's Battle Bond or Protean. And yeah, then we're of course just Wish for recovery, as well as wishing my team back up since I don't have any other recovery outside of my wish on Sylveon. But yeah, now that you know the team I have brought, let's get into the match. So as you see, he did bring the Florges, which did surprise me, so I'll have to figure out how to get around that. Soon Arcanine can still do a lot of damage to it, but overall, like, this is mostly what I expected outside of the Florges. So yeah, let's lead Great Tusk, since as I said in the builder, that is my dedicated lead. We also see that he is Terra Ghost Latias, as well as we also see he leads the Latias. So I immediately switch out into Sylveon, our Latias check. He goes for the Draco Meteor, which is great since I get him for free without taking any damage. And then I sit here for a little bit thinking, should I click Psyshock, predicting the Glamora switch in? But I decided to just play it safe, go for Hyper Voice, and possibly pop a balloon or a Focus Sash. I go for Hyper Voice, do about 25%, which means he's definitely more offensive, could have a little bit of bulk. I just go back out into my Great Tusk. He goes for Stealth Rocks. I click Rapid Spin trying to keep the rocks off, since that's Great Tusk's whole goal in this match. He goes out to Ursaluna. And then I just go out into my Ursaluna, switch in my Bronzong. He goes for Headlong Rush. I'm immune because of Levitate. I take this opportunity to get up my rocks. I then go back out into Sylveon. He then clicks Calm Mind. So I now also click Calm Mind. He goes for the Terror Ghost, and we just go into we start training Calm Minds. And he clicks Shadow Ball, which actually gives me a lot of information because now I know three of his four moves. And that fourth move, being Psyshock or Stored Power, is very unlikely since I am expecting a recovery move, either Roost or Recover. So I feel very comfortable just clicking Calm Mind repeatedly. So as you see this for the next few turns, we continue to do this. And I am praying for no crit because if I don't get crit with my Kelly Berry, I have a good shot of just sweeping his team. Now we're both up to +4, +4. He goes for Shadow Ball. I wish just to make sure I can be up at full. I then Psyshock. He lives, which is mildly annoying. I pray for not another crit. He does not get it. I killed Eladios, and as you see in the chat, he says forgot, which basically at the in the post match he said he forgot about Psyshock and thought he was safe, calm minding up. But it happens to the best of us. He goes into his Greninja. I have the Kevi Berry, but he does not go for Gunshock. Gunshock. He has Gunshot. He just misclicked. However, with the Kevi Berry, I do live it. So it doesn't matter too much. I hyper voice because even if he's Protean, at +6, my hyper voice is still OHKOing. As you see, he also says on the in the chat he did misclick. So he goes out into his Ursaluna. I do outspeed, I OHKO. He goes into Florges. He Moonblast. He gets the crit. If he would have clicked Gunk Shot and got a high roll, I would have died there from the crit from the Florges. So the misclick may have mattered, but we see an eject button, which is a fun tech. Now my Keviaberry procs on the Sludge Wave from the Glamora. I wish up just to make sure I'm healthy. I Psyshock, take down the Glamora. He goes out into Florges, Moonblast. He does not get another crit. I KO the Florges. And lastly, his Lantern comes out. And I click Hyper Voice and KO the Lantern. And we get a very nice 6-0. Oops, that's the wrong button. And we get a very nice 6-0 win. Sylveon coming off the bench after not coming week one and getting 6 kills, which I'm very happy with. This is not how the game I expected to go, but I'm happy with it. But yeah, as you see on the left, Pitch Perfect 2 has arrived. For reference, last season I had Sylveon and its name was Pitch Perfect. So this is Pitch Perfect 2. But yeah, I'm overall pretty happy with this match. Um, yeah, I think I played pretty well as prep pretty well. I'm sort of mildly disappointed I did not get to use Earth Power Great Tusk, but that set may live to be used another day. But yeah, thank you for Shattered Backboards for the match. And yes, that's actually his name. His It's not Shuttered Buckbards or Shorter Dab Cake Birds. I also have a few more. I also have Sheet Tur Back Bear Dies as well as So Hotter Do Be Cooked B Rods. Also, we got Shop Your Do Be Coke. Um, I did not get to those in this video since I kept forgetting to purposely mispronounce his name, and I don't feel like re-recording this. So yes, this is first try, no editing. Thank you for watching. Next week I'll upload my week 3 match against Smaster, so you can look forward to that. I'm curious who are the people that watch this video. Since I know the name of one person who watches this video, since they comment on my video. So hello, Central. But I'm curious who are the other 20 people who watches this video. So maybe just leave a comment down below so I know who watches this, since I'm curious if it's people from the JJDL or just random people that get featured this video in their recommendation. So yes, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week.